Here we are. Here we go. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. 3:06, almost 3:07, and a good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're spending time, I don't know, maybe you're at your place of business, your home, somewhere in between. Perhaps you're at a place of leisure. Wherever you might be, you're taking us where you are, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much for giving us your time and consideration this afternoon. We appreciate it. It's episode 986 of our gatherings together, and I love coming in and figuring out what it's going to sound like in my headphones today. That's always a pleasure. Hold on. Move that over there. Move this over here. Make that squirrel work that way, and get that out of there. And there we go. Hey, friends. Oh, yeah, that sounds much better. Hey, it's a Thursday, February the 26th edition of The Big Show in the year of our Lord, 2026. Glad to have you with us, whether you're listening on the radio dial at 99.7 FM. Perhaps you've decided to join us on one of our many applications. There are plenty of places where you can find music and news and information. We're on all of them, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart. You can also download our own app and take us wherever you want. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. That's how you get to our app. And then there's Talk TV, of course, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. If you would like to be a part of the Talk Television family, just go ahead and like, subscribe, give us the big thumbs up. We would appreciate you doing that as well. How much is that costing nowadays?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yes.
Absolutely nothing, says Ken Weaver from News Closet B. Hello, Ken.
How about you, boys?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah? Making it?
Yeah. Tell the lovely E that I sure do appreciate the wonderful morsels that she gives us.
Mm-hmm.
But good grief, man.
Mm-hmm.
That chocolate chip banana cake.
Oh, boy.
That's going too far.
It's to combat your side effects from the no-acetol.
That's exactly right.
Oh,
that is, if you take that in balance with the no-acetol, then you'll look like you'll look all good. You'll be all good. It's good. Yeah, chocolate chip banana bread
I
cake.
can't be doing that.
It's so good. Awesome. So, the food is flowing in abundance. It's that time of year. We had the plumber out today at the house. That's nice. That was fun.
Good news?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we got the drain problem corrected, so that's good.
Good.
That is good news. Good news. The dishwasher downstairs. I have a dishwasher downstairs. I feel all bougie saying that, but I have a dishwasher downstairs, and the dishwasher downstairs wasn't working. It does have water and power going to it, so I think it's just clogged up. I'm going to try to work on that when I get home. That's what I do in my off time nowadays. But you aren't here to hear all of that. You're here to hear what the news is. Ken Weaver delivers it twice an hour, and when it breaks, that's what he does. Matt Murphy opines on said same. We're really not entirely sure what Jackson does outside of making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. Hey, Jackson, I hope you're doing well, friend.
911 Nashville's back tonight.
Is it?
It is.
You excited?
Not really.
This might be E's episode.
I don't believe it is.
No?
No.
Why do you not believe that?
Because you told me the number, and I don't think they're at that number yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
surely I haven't watched that many of these episodes.
They are trash, as they say. They are trash. I mean, I like to support my city. I like to try to, you know what I'm saying? It's got Nashville in the name, so I'm going to gravitate to it. I was not a part of the Nashville craze when that show was out. Hold on. I have to sneeze.
Achoo!
Achoo!
Oh,
that's a big old sneeze.
Woo! Two of them. I just didn't want to sneeze on y'all. Were you a fan of Nashville, Jackson?
No.
The original? Ken, did you watch any of that?
I never did.
Wasn't that with the mom from Friday Night Lights?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically a big country music soap opera, basically, is how I would describe it. And this is basically a country, hold on again.
Bless you, Brother Murphy.
What in the hell is going on in this studio? What has Mandis or Chris Hand or Chad Benson done in this studio? I blame all three of them.
Something's happening in there.
Something's going on. Got up my nose. I don't know what to do about it. Well, I'll just continue sneezing on you until it works itself out.
Have you watched Bad Santa yet?
What? Where'd that come from, Jackson? We're talking about something else. We're talking about watching TV.
Stop deflecting, Murphy.
Uh-huh. What do you mean?
Have you watched Bad Santa yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happens?
Oh, yeah. He's, He's a Santa Claus and he's bad. He's like Santa, but he cusses. That's what that's all about. No, I haven't, Jackson. Jeez, Manelli. Get off my back, monkey. Golly. Anyway, I will. Yes, 7346 says, when news breaks, Ken fixes it. That's true. We used to have that sounder in Birmingham. When news breaks, we fix it. Anyway, no, I've not watched Bad Santa, and I will probably not be watching Nashville 911. Is it 911 Nashville or Nashville 911?
The first one.
911 Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
And if you availed yourself of the original 911 series and you're wondering, can this get any more melodramatic and worse? Well, I got news for you. It can. In the form
Traitors
of,
season finale tonight.
What?
Traitors.
Traitors.
Never seen it? Best reality show on television.
I've got it on my list right behind Bad Santa, which is really, really high up on the old list. Yeah. A number of folks to tell you about that will be stopping by. Justin Owen with the Beacon Center will stop by at 3:35 today. We'll talk to him about some of the Beacon Center priorities. And we'll discuss DCS with Justin. And I continuously ask the question, why in the world are we spending more money on additional projects and additional programs when we're not properly funding or at least properly executing the projects and the programs that seem to, well, at least ought to take priority for the citizens of the state of Tennessee, like the Department of Children Services. We shall discuss at 3:35. Scott Spiggy will sling in at 4:05 today, and Tori Venable with the Americans for Prosperity. They have a big event coming up that I'm pleased to be a part of, and we'll tell you all about that on the way at 5:05 this afternoon. Your telephone calls interspersed throughout the course of the day at 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. That 9986 spells WWTN. For those of you who want to do it that way, you can super text us or you can call us on the telephone. We'd love to hear your voice either way, your voice via the super text or your voice on the telephones. So this story broke earlier, and a lot of liberals are trying to make hay while the sun shines, and I suppose I get it. Any way you can ding a Republican, any way you can ding the leading gubernatorial candidate in the state of Tennessee, I suppose you're going to. And I suppose that many of you might look at this and get frustrated by it. And if you do, let me know on the super text. If you do, give me a call. I'm very curious what you think about this. I think it's very easy to knock Marsha Blackburn when I tell you this story, but I also think that any one of us would have done the same thing were we in Marsha Blackburn's position. Or I guarantee you that plenty of other people did exactly what Marsha Blackburn did if they had access to Teresa Broyles Applin in the same fashion that she did. And the story and the headline, they want to make this seem like it's more than it truly is. But I'm not here to defend Marsha either. She can defend herself. Yeah, she's the front runner to be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. She can defend herself. Here's the story. Headline: Blackburn coordinated with NES CEO for special treatment during ice storm. Oh, that sounds bad. That sounds like she jumped the line, doesn't it? That sounds like she made some demands. Wagged her finger, said, you will do this, that, or the other thing. Boy, I'll get you. Senator used office to coordinate personal restoration timeline with Teresa Broyles Applin for Brentwood residents. Well, that doesn't sound quite as bad, does it? Let's get to the meat of the story and find out what you think about it. U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn coordinated a personal power restoration timeline with NES CEO Teresa Broyles Applin, who then advocated for the senator internally during Winter Storm Fern. Blackburn's office contacted the utility's CEO by phone Tuesday, January 27th, 2 days after the destructive ice storm swept across Davidson County, asking for updates on the Brentwood residents as roughly 100,000 customers remained without electricity. Ice and freezing temperatures, blah, 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 230,000 power outages, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Blackburn's neighborhood, which sits on the edge of the NES service area near the Davidson-Williamson County line, received attention from crews January 28th, the day after her office contacted the CEO, according to Power Restoration Maps and emails shared by the utility. Broyles-Applin personally advocated for her Brentwood residents after a phone conversation on the evening of January 27th. That, according to emails obtained via public records request and reviewed by Nashville Scene. Understand, Nashville Scene is a liberal rag, and they're going to view everything through that liberal lens, so they don't like Marsha Blackburn very much. One seriously doubts whether or not they... Let me ask you this. Do you think Freddie O'Connell called Teresa Broyles-Applin? Do you think... I mean, I don't know. I could be right or wrong. Heidi Campbell... Jeff Yarborough, and J.R. Clemens, any of these other local Democrat lawmakers, do you think any of those reached out to her? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know the answer to that. I think it would be pertinent if you're trying to do a fair-minded investigation, but they're not at the Nashville Scene trying to do a fair-minded investigation. It feels to me like this is a story that they wished was true, and it turned out that it wasn't quite as true as they thought it was going to be, and so they ran with it anyway. But I continue. I just got off the phone with Senator Blackburn's office, Broyles-Applin wrote to a Mr. Phelps, Kevin Phelps, the NES operations manager, on January 27th. They're wanting some information on when her power might be restored. I looked at her circuit, and if I'm looking at it correctly, it is on our top 20 list now. It has just not been assigned. I know you may have no idea on timing, but I wanted to see if there's anything your team could tell me. In emails, Broyles-Applin did not specify whether she was communicating with Blackburn in her Senate office or her campaign office. The next day, Broyles-Applin contacted a system supervisor for more information on Blackburn's behalf, writing at 6:49 on Wednesday, January 28th, wanted to follow up on the status of Senator Blackburn's home. Any updates? The employee, a system supervisor, explained that his crew could not get to her specific street because of a broken pole and extensive power line damage. 50 minutes later, Phelps responded that he had intervened and a crew was back in her neighborhood. We have a crew out there working tonight. No guarantees that her house will come back on, but we're working on it. The Senate reconvened that week, indicating Blackburn may have been back in D.C. 2 days later, Blackburn publicly criticized Broyles-Applin for NES's inadequate response to the storm. In a lengthy letter dated January 30th, the senator asked about various aspects of NES storm preparedness and whether customers would be reimbursed for hotel stays. NES routinely communicates with public officials at the local, state, and federal level during major storm events because our customers are also our constituents, an NES spokesperson told The Scene. We're grateful to public officials for their coordination during Winter Storm Fern, which required the state of emergency declaration, a subsequent federal disaster declaration, and ongoing work with FEMA. A request for comment from Blackburn's office was not returned. So this is designed to look as bad as possible. Now, I read you virtually the entire article from the Nashville Scene. Headline, I want to read you the headline again. Blackburn coordinated with NES CEO for special treatment. Did you hear anything where Blackburn was asking for special treatment? Once again, I'm not here to defend the lady. But I'm just here to tell the truth. The Nashville Scene doesn't seem to be interested in the truth, at least if their headline's any indication. Now, let me ask you this. If you had direct access to Teresa Broyles-Applin and the power went out for a couple of days, would you call her if you're an NES customer? Just yes or no. I mean, I know that many of you don't care for Marsha Blackburn. Many of you love her. The evidence is that she will be the next governor absent some weirdness. And I say that with all due respect and love for John Rose. Congressman Rose is running against her. Monty Fritz is running against her. She's going to have some primary competition, and she'll have some competition in the general election. But she is most certainly the front runner to be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. Now, that shouldn't matter, and it doesn't matter. What did she do wrong? What did her people do wrong? I guarantee you, and y'all know, I've been calling on this lady, Teresa Broyles-Applin, to get her crap, pack it up, and get out. I will not rest until she is released and removed from her duties as CEO of NES. She failed this community, and when you make $654,000 a year in compensation, you only get one shot at failure, and you're out. And she failed. But if I had her telephone number and my power's out, I would call her. I guarantee you, if we had her on this show, she would tell us about the hundreds of text messages, the hundreds of telephone calls that she personally received all over this community with regard to people that knew her number and wanted to communicate with her directly about what the hell was going on. Number two, once again, I don't have to defend Marsha on this. I'm just using the facts of the case. And nowhere, the headline says special treatment. Show me where she asks for special treatment. She just wanted an update. Hey, can you tell me what's going on and when the power's coming back on? Everybody wanted that. And that's what they had spent. And one of the reasons that this lady needs to be fired from her job, they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars. I forget what the figure was, but it was like not 10. I mean, it might have been hundreds. It was like tens of millions of dollars on this alert system that didn't work. Y'all know what I'm talking about? This text message system? Oh, hey, your power's back on. Doink. No, it's not. Ah. That's what they did. You know the old game? You know what I'm talking about? Hey, look, you got something. Pop. Doink. No, you don't. Hey, your power's back on. Bloop. No, it's not. Too bad you checked out of that hotel room. Folks, this is a bunch of nothing. But it is designed by the scene to make Marsha look bad because we are predisposed to believe that these high-end muckety-mucks get special treatment. I would also note that in addition to Marsha Blackburn being critical of Teresa Broyles-Applin, I looked this up, it was February the 5th. It was a week later that Marsha Blackburn stood on the floor of the United States Senate and called for Teresa Broyles-Applin to be fired, removed from her position, and replaced with someone more competent. Now, many of you are noting, and I would agree with you, that why Marsha does not, maybe Marsha does have a whole home generation system. I don't know. Your thoughts, 615-737-9986. It's 24 after the hour on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I was just over on the YouTube chat saying hello to the crazies. They're still talking about the big State of the Union event. Old Cosmo Kramer over there was talking about it. I got to meet Cosmo. It was fine to meet all of the folks out at the State of the Union address. At our event at Legend Steakhouse, if you were unable to come, never you fear. We'll be doing it again very, very soon. We're out next Thursday, right?
Week from today.
A week from today at the Nashville Fairgrounds. I imagine we'll be talking about the Speedway a little bit. And we might, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but we might have a very special guest on location with us. Have you heard about this, Jackson?
No.
Very special guest. Might be on site with us, on location. I don't want to say who, but it's someone that we've wanted to talk to for some time about property taxes in Nashville, about NES's performance.
About the Speedway.
About the Speedway itself. And they might be there starting at 4:05 that afternoon. So 1 week from virtually right now. More coming up as information becomes available. Right now, let's turn our attention to the Murphy Show hotline. We had hoped to have Justin Owen in studio, but you know how Nashville traffic goes. And so we called an audible and got him on the phone. Justin Owen is with the Beacon Center, and he joins us on the program today. And I owe him an apology for double booking yesterday, but he was gracious enough to come on today. What's up, Justin? How are you?
Pretty good, other than this traffic. I can literally see your studio, but I just can't get there.
Oh, man. You want me to wave? Hey. You probably just saw me
See
wave.
you out the window.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Justin, you know how much I value our visits together, and I'm curious what's on your radar screen, what's on the radar screen of the Beacon Center. We're in the thick of it now with the General Assembly, it feels like. It'll be done before you know it because these guys have to go off to campaign for their election cycle. So what is on your radar screen right now with the Beacon Center?
Well, we've got a big bill coming up next week that is really important. And you had mentioned the NES stuff. They're probably the best example of the need for taxpayer-funded lobbying reform. All these lobbying groups, our local governments, including NES, have hired up lobbyists to fight against good policy. Obviously, NES is trying to fend off any challenges to their just complete debacle. I mean, you've talked about this ad nauseum, from the tree trimming, budget cuts, from staffing far fewer linemen than neighboring Middle Tennessee Electric. You asked about the text messaging system that went awry. That was $250 million that they spent on that.
Gracious.
And rather than apologizing for their errors, rather than try to fix the problems, they immediately after this complete debacle from the ice storm went out and hired at least 3 lobbying firms that we know of to fend off any types of reforms to the utility. The issue is all of these local governments hire lobbyists. We don't know how much they spend because they don't have to disclose it. Private entities like Beacon Impact, our advocacy arm, every other company, every other association and private group that spends their own money lobbying the legislature has to disclose every 6 months how much they spend on that. Local governments are exempt from that. They don't even have to file that information. We've got a bill up in the legislature next week that Representative Lee Reeves has for us in the House that would require them to disclose how much they spend on taxpayer-funded lobbying.
All right, so if I understand what you're saying correctly, I just want to kind of reiterate what you just said to make sure that everybody gets it. So if a private company wants to lobby the legislature, obviously their investment is with their shareholders or stakeholders, and so they are obligated to answer to them. But if an organization like yours wants to lobby, then you have hoops to jump through, and there are rules that apply to the money that you spend regarding disclosures.
That's right. Every private entity, Beacon, any company, any association, chambers of commerce, all of those private entities have to disclose how much they spend lobbying the legislature. Government entities don't, even though they're spending your money doing it.
Well, I mean, I might be asking the wrong person this question, but why not? How is that a part of the law that they don't have to disclose what taxpayer money they are using to lobby on any given piece of legislation?
Way back in the day, they got themselves exempt from this requirement. And so, I would love to ban taxpayer-funded lobbying altogether. Frankly, it should be the mayors and city council members and the NES CEO who have to go up and answer questions and make their case when they're impacted by legislation. They're the ones that we elect to do that at our local level, but we're not even saying, no, you can't at all lobby, you can't hire lobbyists, but we deserve to know as taxpayers how much you're spending if you do it.
Yeah, I'm like you. I would prefer just to eliminate all taxpayer-funded lobbying altogether. And you know what? If the city council of, a community wants to lobby the legislature on a given issue, do it themselves. Isn't that what we pay the local officials for? I mean, and I understand some of this pay is rather meager in some of these smaller communities, but bottom line is go do it yourselves. Why are you hiring outside entities and costing the taxpayers additional dollars when that's what we elect you for?
Absolutely. And that would be the end result for what we would love to see. At the very least, we need to know how much they're spending before we can figure that out, and we don't even know that information now. We've literally had local governments tell us when we've submitted open records requests, we don't know how much we spend on lobbying because we don't track it. Because they're not forced to. They don't even track this stuff.
Right. I mean, but what we are finding out, and it is a perfect example. Nashville Electric Service, which is a municipality-owned monopoly that is providing electrical service to their region, they spent, according to the Tennessee Star, over $10 million for a multi-year contract on lobbyists, not forward-facing public relations people that would go out to the people and make sure that they understand what NES is doing and how they're doing their job. Their job was to lobby the legislature for, whatever purpose. And the latest line of lobbying has been to try to protect themselves against the possibility that the General Assembly is going to look into restructuring the hierarchy of NES.
Well, and it goes beyond that. I mean, NES is probably the most glaring recent example of why we need this transparency. But we've talked about property tax reform on your show. We've got legislation to cap local property taxes. One of the reasons that bill has never moved in the legislature is because just about every local government has some taxpayer-funded lobbying group fighting against us and fighting to kill those things before they can even gain legs. And so we really need to shine light on this if we're going to get things like property tax reform and other important reforms done. Reforms to NES. Our friend Mayor Cole in Laverne, he's been on your show talking about how NES has completely ignored him, even though he's got constituents who are customers of NES. None of this can happen as long as these taxpayer-funded lobbying groups are allowed to continue to take our money, our tax dollars, and fight against our own interests.
Our guest is Justin Owen. He's with the Beacon Center talking about legislation in the General Assembly that they are supporting, they're pushing, and want to highlight and make sure that you're aware of. Justin, you and I have talked about the Education Scholarship Fund in the past. Yep. You and I are both of a like mind that we support this. But here's where I've gotten stuck in the middle of the road, and I can't get off this DCS thing. I can't see giving more money to the Education Scholarship Fund if the state is going to let something like the Department of Children's Service be so insanely broken that we're having children sleep in offices, and we're getting reports that kids are doing meth under the state's watch and whatnot. And it was asked of me yesterday, can you support spending more money on? And look, it's a great project, it's a great program. But I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves in terms of what we're funding, how we're spending our money, and where our priorities are. It's gotten me in a lurch on all of this. What do you say?
Well, I certainly agree that there needs to be reform with DCS. I mean, these are the most vulnerable kids in our state. They don't have families. They don't have anybody to take care of them, and they're having, unfortunately, to rely on the government to do so. And so we should care about the least of these first and foremost. I will say two things. One, the school choice program it's not new spending. At the end of the day, we're already spending money on every child that we educate in this state. If you're a kid getting an education in our state, we're generating funds for you to get that education. We're simply, through school choice, allowing parents to choose whether they spend that money at their traditional zone public school or if they spend it at a private school or another school that better serves their needs. So there's not this additional, we're not spending additional money at the end of the day on this particular program. There are plenty of places, whether it's film incentives. You talked about, I think, 911 Nashville, horrendous show. We're spending millions of dollars. That show has received more taxpayer money than any other show in history. And these are great examples of all kinds of waste and abuse in state government that we could be redirecting funds away from because some special interest has gotten their film incentives or some other type of handout when we should be spending that money on DCS. So I half and half agree with you, right? I agree with you that we need to be prioritizing DCS. I agree with you that there are, should be the first and foremost of the use of our tax dollars, but there are plenty of other programs that actually waste money and spend taxpayer money, unlike the school choice program.
That's fair. Now, I want to ask you, when you say this money is already out there, I mean, we do have to dedicate it to fund any additional scholarships, though. That's fair.
Yeah, so it is a line item in the budget for sure, but the way but at the end of the day, every time a kid leaves the public school, that public school is no longer educating that child and has a cost of educating that child. So over time, those funds follow that child to the new school. So yes, technically it's a line item in the budget, and that's part of the discussion for year one. But at the end of the day, we're already spending that money educating kids in our state. It's simply redirecting that elsewhere.
Well, and it just, I've gotten stuck on this DCS story to the point that every lawmaker that comes before me, they're going to get asked about this, and then we can talk about the Education Scholarship Fund. But I just need to be assured And that's what I'm looking for, Justin, not from you, but from the lawmakers. I need to be assured that there's an action plan in place that I can understand that they are going to better serve these children that have not been served by their parents, that they had to take away from the parental authority, and they're trying to funnel them into some sort of foster care. I just need some assurance that there's an action plan there. And if they can assure me of that, then you know I'm all about school choice. I'm all about giving parents a better opportunity in that line of thinking. I have a hard time prioritizing the latter when I'm faced with the former.
I think you can do both because I think there's so many other opportunities. Last year there was an effort to fund zoos. And look, I love animals. I have a dog, dog man's best friend. I love zoos, but it's not the role of government to pay for zoos. It's not the role of government to pay for shows like 911 Nashville. There are plenty of places that we can redirect funds away from, and we're with you on that. We need to prioritize those core functions of government. And there's plenty of opportunities to do that.
Listen, man.
Even in a very conservative state, there's still plenty of opportunity.
You might get some pushback from some people on the 911 Nashville if it wasn't so awful. It's just awful. It's just if it was a really good show, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I'd never watched.
Speaking of NES, they actually were caught filming during the ice storm because you can't let a good crisis go to waste. And here they are spending taxpayer money on blocking streets, some of the only ways that people had out of their neighborhoods to film during the ice storm. And I bet people would be outraged to know that their own tax dollars were going to pay for that.
Justin, anything else on the radar screen of the Beacon Center right now?
So one other issue that I don't think we've talked about in past segments is healthcare reform, certificate of need repeal. It sounds really wonky, but it's a pretty simple concept. We require government permission in order to add pretty much any new healthcare service. You want to add a new hospital, even an MRI machine in most parts of the state, you've got to go beg this board for government permission. And your competitors can often effectively veto your ability to add that new service. It's kind of like McDonald's getting to decide whether Chick-fil-A opens across the street. Governor Lee has a proposal this year that would repeal these certificate of need laws and allow these services to be provided to Tennesseans. We did a study a little while back and found that because of the denials of these certificate of needs, there were over $700 million in lost direct healthcare investment in communities across our state. So this has a really big impact, particularly in rural areas of the state. And hopefully over the next few weeks, legislators are going to start making moves with Governor Lee's legislation to fix this problem.
I am regularly fascinated with the concept that government authorities say that they believe in the free market system until there's actual need within the free market system, and then they want to take control over it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I'm all about it. We need to let the free market work its best as it can, and only intervene when absolutely necessary. And that's not what this certificate of need is currently doing. I would agree with you on that.
That's exactly right. And by the way, if anybody of your listeners want to take action on any of this, we created our own special link for you, beaconimpact.org/radio, and you can go on and click on a call to action where you can literally just fire off an email to your legislator, send them a message about any of the bills we talked about today.
Absolutely love it. Justin, thank you for your time. Hope the traffic gets a little better right over there.
I will make it in studio next time. I'll leave 2 hours early instead of 45 minutes.
My friend, it was all on me. That was my failure as a host to double book you.
No worries at all.
Thank you for your time, and we'll talk again very soon.
Appreciate you, Matt.
There's Justin Owen with the Beacon Center. I have a difficult time. Look, I have a difficult time focusing on the Education Scholarship Fund when I'm thinking about DCS. And if the state can't get DCS right, then I don't know what we're doing. I mean, and, if you tell me, well, we can chew bubble gum and walk down the street at the same time, okay, well, tell me how you're chewing that bubble gum. Let's talk about that for a minute. 53 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.